Building massive AI models takes millions of processors, but the physical chips are no longer what's holding the industry back. The tech giants are running out of electricity. Before operators can turn on new server facilities, they face a severe logistical roadblock. They have to wait 24 to 36 months for utility companies to physically upgrade the grid with the high-voltage transmission lines required to feed them. When these sprawling data centers finally connect to the grid, they consume massive amounts of local capacity. Nearby towns are left dealing with the strain on their electrical infrastructure, and they often face higher utility bills to subsidize the grid expansion. The surrounding citizens absorb the physical friction and the financial costs of keeping the servers running, while the profits generated by the AI flow strictly upward to the corporate operators. Lawmakers in Ohio are reviewing a legislative framework designed to reverse this extraction. The proposed bill requires that essential computing infrastructure actively generate wealth for the people living around it. This bill centers on a technical system called quantum Oasis. It intercepts the intense thermal exhaust thrown off by AI servers, heat that is traditionally vented into the atmosphere as garbage, and converts it directly into a localized stream of revenue. By turning a physical liability into a financial asset, this approach shows we don't have to choose between advancing software and maintaining community stability. To test this thermodynamic architecture, the project is anchoring its physical prototype inside an old industrial site in Ohio known as the Millerin facility. This diagram illustrates phantom compute. Graphene materials and microdissipators capture thermal energy at the server rack, routing it into a closed loop. As the output metrics show, this recovers roughly 1.5 megawatts of power, offsetting electricity for 37 additional racks. For a hyperscale operator, bypassing the 3-year grid waitlist to turn on those extra racks generates an estimated $118 million in pulled-forward revenue. By effectively recycling their own thermal waste, operators clear their biggest logistical hurdle and dramatically increase their operating margins on day one. The physical components for these thermal recovery units, like the advanced molecular graphene structure shown here, are manufactured locally. That anchors a new supply chain of skilled fabrication jobs directly in the state. This flowchart maps the Ohio Health Infrastructure Act. Following the path to the red warning box, 2 to 5% of the margin is automatically diverted into a state health fund. This allocation layer cannot be bypassed, and the smart contract permits no human override. Tying the routing obligation directly to the operating permit ensures the surrounding town extracts a guaranteed mathematical dividend from the machines running next door. Every quarter, that central state fund is distributed downward into thousands of individual citizen accounts. Eligible residents receive deposits directly into their federally recognized health security accounts. For everyone else, the state creates parallel Ohio health security accounts, ensuring every citizen has a dedicated balance for out-of-pocket care, prescriptions, and preventative medicine. Beyond direct deposits, the fund also builds the project's dignity layer. This includes essential technologies like EyeSpeak, a webcam-based interface that tracks iris movements to give nonverbal individuals a functional way to communicate. The development and deployment of that specific communication tool is paid for entirely by the recovered exhaust of the AI servers. Warm, grounded tone. The physical heat of a massive computing cluster is successfully converted into a voice for someone who didn't have one. To validate the pilot, the developers are launching a public campaign. Backers are funding the initial deployment of the Millerin micronodes and the beta release of the EyeSpeak interface. It provides an immediate entry point for citizens to hold an active stake in a physical system that produces measurable, returning value. We have the technology to stop socializing the burdens of industrial expansion. Moving forward, communities can demand that the machines built in their backyards are explicitly wired to fund their futures.